Again, good morning, everyone. And again, this is the introduction to Microsoft Word. This is session 2 of our Microsoft Word series that will be taking place on menus, icons, and beyond. Now, if you were here with us on the last one, we did go through the basics and the foundations of Microsoft Word. And today we're going to build on that. We're going to go into a little bit more about the menus and how they work on the document. I think you'll get a lot out of this today. And I also included in the chat as well. If you do would like to download this presentation, you may do so. And also there's a place to make comments if you have any questions too. At the conclusion, we will go through all of any questions that you may have. Let's get going here. At the beginning here, the Zoom etiquette, if you don't mind, for everyone to hear, make sure everybody stays muted throughout the presentation. This presentation will be recorded for training purposes and for the future use for the public. So again, like I said, make sure to jot down your questions throughout the presentation, and we will again go over those at the conclusion once we finish the training today. A little bit of an overview. Again, we will be going through how to understand the ribbon interface, and again, that's that menu bar at the top. We will go through and show you how that all works in Microsoft Word. We'll also identify the tabs as well, which each tab has a different function in Word, and they all kind of tie together. And then we'll understand some of the icons and what they do as well. All right, let's just jump on in and we will get going on this. So at the beginning, we now see at the top, up in the top little of the red, you'll see up here the ribbon interface. Now, you will see that commonly in any of the Microsoft Word programs. They're all pretty congruent. In Microsoft Word, we're going to get you the basics and how each of these tabs and ribbons work together to help you make a great document. So Microsoft Office 2007, 2010, they used that ribbon interface, and they've kept it for all this time. And again, the area outline that you see there is what you'll see at the top of the page. And these ribbons we're going to go over today are what they call the default ribbons, which again is what you'll see pretty much every time you open up the program. Now, a lot of these ribbons you can customize. You can then go in and take them. You can actually go in the menus and you can customize them if you don't use all the features. We won't be doing that in this presentation. However, you can do that if you'd like to. There's other videos out there that can show you how to customize ribbons for your own personal use on your computer, so you don't have to see everything else. And then in order to do this, again, you can right click on the mouse and on that ribbon, and you can do the customization and take out some of those icons and other functions if you like. So the basics here, you'll see on the top here. Now, you'll see this is a little bit older version that I've got on the screen. The bottom right down here that you'll see is actually going to be the newer version, what you'll see in 2010 to 2016. A lot of those are now having the more modern bar, which again is the same thing, it's just a little bit modernized. But on here, you can now look and see that you have home screen, the home tab, the insert tab, design. Again, all of these, again, are all different tabs, and they have a different function that will help you do the Word document and make it even better all throughout your experience. But again, the words file, home, insert, again, are outlined in here. Again, you see those at the top. They're getting referred to as the tabs. And then again, each tab will have several groups of those. And remember, the groups are actually going to be these little things underneath here that have a little bit more, they go into more in depth with the tabs. Now you'll also see on the file menu, and what we're going to also do too is I'm going to bring up the Word document as well. And I'm going to switch real quick, and we will go over to the Word document. So again, on the Word document, this is just the basic one that we will look at, and it is a real, again, I've put up a title page on here, which again will allow you to kind of identify what page you're doing. Again, this is the Microsoft Office 365, the latest version that they've got. And a lot of these, again, are the same things that you've seen even back from 2010, 2016's version. All of these this is that default menu and tabs that you have right here at the top. Now, a lot of this stuff, though, is just to let you know we have the file menu, and that is pretty standard all the way across. So in the file menu, like we said, we have a lot of different options here. And then you have your home, you can start a new document, you can open documents. And then you also have the ability to save as. Now in Office 365, mind you, you do have the ability where it can auto save for you. Now older versions, you want to make sure to take that ability to keep saving every 5 minutes on stuff. Because in case you don't want to lose the document, in case you had a computer, some sort of operating system failure, or something just randomly happens to the program where it has to shut down. So a good rule of thumb is to make sure to save the document every 5 minutes, and just always go here to the file menu and you can go over to save. And if you haven't created the file name, make sure to go to save as well. But again, you can then go to the file menu is right up here at the top, just right next to the home tab, and it always will be there at any time. So again, we start out with that is again, the file menu, and here is your basic page that we got. So now let's go back and see what we have here in the presentation. And these are the different tabs that we've got along the side in the menu. And you can start a new document, you can open it, and you can also do the saving as well. So that's your file tab right there at the top. Oops, hold on just a second here. All right, there we go. Oh, I didn't want to do that. There we go. All right, now back on here. So now the home tab, we're going to talk a little bit. This is your first one that you come to. And the home tab does have some of your basic tools to make the word processing document work for you. In here, you'll see, again, you have a lot of different groups in here, the clipboard, the fonts, the paragraphs. A lot of these are very common that you've seen over the many years of Microsoft Word. And if this is all new to you, all good too. But then just know that the home tab is your first tab that you'll always have, that you can use your basic tools of being able to bold text, italicize, underline. A lot of those are right here in the home menu. And as you can see, this is exactly what it would look like whenever you come about. And again, you can do if you're famous cut and copy and paste, all those are right here in front here on the clipboard. Your fonts right here in the middle. Then you can change the font. You can change the actual font face, and then as well as the size. And then you also have a couple of other things. We talked about a little bit about this in the first class, that you do have a couple of ways to look at things when it comes to sizes, as well as how you do things in Word. But again, these groups are pretty standard as you come across these tabs. And again, the home one being the most common ones. You also see bullets, and also numbered bullets. You can also increase the indentions as well when you do paragraphs. A lot of those are in here. And then your alignment. Now, very, very important when you're doing a title versus a paragraph, when you do a title, you center the title a lot of times. So you can actually highlight those lines and create a title and then actually do the alignment in the center. But a lot of these things, again, the home tab is a very important element, just to always know that your basic things will be right there. Now the insert tab. Now insert is also very important because a lot of times you'll want to include different things like pictures, or also just very, very standout type fonts as well. You also have smart art as well, which you'll see up here in the illustrations group tab. Now that'll also allow you to, and we'll see this in a demonstration in just a moment, but you'll also be able to actually stand out text even with a special style if you want to. And those are very, very awesome. You can then also add shapes if you want to do arrows. I mean, some of the arrows and stuff are in here too, and shapes. And you can even do a screenshot of another page and then bring it into Word. And we have the screenshot option as well. So there's a lot of things in here that the insert tab will do. If you're wanting to do a page break, for instance, you can do those as well through this actual pages group tab in the insert menu. And then again, the page break will actually do a special little bit break point from page 1 to page 2. So there's a couple of things that we have in here that you can do that. So the insert tab, again, that is the second tab right next to home that you'll see in here. Then you have page layout. The page layout here, and we skip design because there's not a whole lot. You get a little bit more advanced in the design. You have some different templates and stuff as well. They'll take, well, I really want to focus more on that layout section because you can change margins. You can also change the orientation of your document, whether it's from portrait style to landscape style. And then even the size of what the paper it's going to print out on, you can change that as well. Most of the Word documents default to 8.5 inches by 11 inches, a standard paper size, especially in your printer, and that's what it defaults to. And then you can also change sizes if you want bigger paper. Now, also you've got the columns. You can also take your text if you have a big grouping of things. For instance, if you have colors or numbers, you can actually set columns up if you wanted to. So you have the ability to break the text up into columns on the left side and the right side if you want to. And then again, your indentions and all of the spacing between lines, that's where you can control those in here as well. So again, those are those things there. And then if you do want line numbers, you can add those in too. But a lot of these things, again, in the layout menu, the formatting for your pages, now that's right here. That's where you'll find those in the layout menu. Now let's just switch back. We're going to switch back over to our Word document, and we're actually going to apply some of this stuff because that's going to be a really good thing to see as we go along here. So let me go back into my Word document here. Okay, so we're back at the welcome to the page. So again, we just talked about the home, insert menu, and layout. So again, let's take a look at this. So for one, we want to go in here, and this is going to be my title page. So I can go in here, and in the home menu, I can actually make my title bigger. I can do it right here through the menu by selecting number. As you see, it gets bigger. You can also decrease it and make it smaller. So like for my title, I'm going to make my title page a 20-point size. Now also, while it's highlighted, just to show you, you can also do, if you're more of a visual person with the icons, you can then actually do it, you can actually shrink it by using these icons. You can actually bring it down like this, back to lower, or you can go up and make it higher, back up to 20. So there again, you have multiple ways of doing these. You can also, if you wanted to make this title red or something, you can do that too. Right here, there's also the font colors. You can change the font color in here. So if I want it to be red, it will change to red. If I want to go back and put it back to black, I can put it back to black. And then I can also highlight too. This is also, there's text highlighting colors. If I want a yellow highlight, I can bring a yellow highlight onto it. Or I can change it. Or I can do the other part, which is called undo. I can undo it and go back one feature, like you see here. And then we also talk about copy paste. I can highlight this. I want to make this another smaller text right below it. I can also go in here, I can go to copy and bring the text down below and hit the paste button. Okay. And then I also want to make this smaller now because I don't want two big titles. I want to be able to make a smaller title. And because I've actually highlighted this, I go right here to this and I can make it lower again. Just like that. And then you have your alignments. Now we talked about the alignments in the home tab, and now you can, because this was the actual title, this is going to be my first line of the page in my paragraph. So I want to actually bring that back over to the left. Okay. And I actually want to make it just a little bit smaller, just like that. So again, we talked about those, we talked about the fonts, the sizing, the colors, and then you're able to copy and paste to a new line if you wanted to. And then you're also able to then take these, you can actually take these lines right here. And if you wanted to, for instance, I wanted to make this page at the top bold, I could. We have the bold, italicize, and underline. We have those right here. And then if I wanted to change the font, for instance, a common one is Calibri. I could change it there. And actually, I don't need a period, so I can actually remove that. But we can do the titles. You can make them bold. You can then make them smaller. I mean, all of those things are available to be done right here in the Home tab. Now, one of the other cool things that you can do, and like I said, we can do bullets in here as well. So if I wanted to do something like the following colors are needed for this page, colon. Now I can put in, and one of the things, it actually double spaces as the default in Microsoft Word. You can also do another, if you want to just go down one line, you can actually hit Shift Enter, and that'll take it down one line. And when I'm ready, if I want to do just a general bullet list, I could do that. But however, it did take it out to the other side, so I can go back to undo and bring it down and then start another bullet. And I can list out my colors like blue, red. Actually, I can go to blue, red, purple, and orange. Okay, so again, you can do these bullets, which are really, really helpful. And again, you can also bring the spacing back up a little bit as well. If you want to bring it back up, you can. So there's the spacing on that, and then I can go backward to start to take that bullet off. So again, you have the bullets there as well. And again, I can do blue, red, and I can make these numbered as well. See, like that. So you can also make it, you have the regular bullets, and then you have the numbered bullets. So you have multiple ways of doing stuff on the paragraph form. So just to kind of show you the difference between the two. Now, if we look at the Insert tab, now this is also very, very helpful as well, because Insert, you have a lot of different options here. You can actually create tables. That was one thing I didn't mention earlier, was the table part of it. I can then, just to kind of go down below here, I can create a table however long I want to do. Maybe I want to do it by 3 by 3. And you see that you can actually create a table and then put text inside it. And then you can tab over like that. So you can make a table of all of these colors as well. And I have like, I can say, let's look at this. Let's see, I have orange, we do pink, and we can also do cyan, for instance. So again, you can create tables as well and put the text inside there. That's also a really great tool. So you'll also see that again in the Insert tab. So again, Insert, and you also have tables. And just remember, think of it, Insert, I want to add to. So Insert, I want to add to this document a table. And that's how you can easily remember where the table is in here. You can also do, like we talked about, pictures. You can add pictures to the document. So again, we can add a picture on a new line here. I can add a picture. And I'm going to say, for instance, I'm going to add a cone. Let's see if it does. Oh, maybe not. Let's do this. So again, we can look. Let me look back at my. Yeah, here we go. Let's do this. So I'm going to just add this 10. So you can add pictures in here as well. Now, one of the cool things that are really fun are that when you do add a picture, and maybe jumping ahead just a little bit, however, it's also really cool to see that you can then, it will give you the options to format that picture. Now you will see, let me bring my menu down here, I apologize. Now here you have what you call the format menu. Now that also comes in when you do have an image come through. And with that, you can then take that image and you can actually position it a little bit differently as well, or wrap it around text. Now, one of the cool things though is that sometimes you can actually bring it square, and it actually will bring text around it. Or you can also do it behind the text. You see that? So whenever I move it, it will actually move things around too. And in front of the, see how I move the actual image in front of the table there? So you can do a lot of those. But again, I'm going to put this picture right up here. And because it's in square mode, it's able to move right next to the text as well. You see that right there? It will actually take that image and move the text over for you. So again, just remember, this is a little bit ahead. It's in the format menu. And that comes up whenever a picture actually does appear on your screen, in Word especially. You'll have the option to adjust that picture however you like. And again, you can make that into here, or you can also, you have lots of different options for it. The square one is actually a nice one because you can kind of maneuver it around, that's where this comes in. You can take that picture and then go back here to the home menu. And then from there, you can and actually I'm going to move this over to the side and then take that off. You have, again, area where you can then move the text around again, okay? But again, you put that together, you can then, the format menu does come up, and then you can actually move these to the side. Like I see here, you can actually wrap it with the text. So like one of the options here is the top left position. You can move it there, in the middle, even at the bottom. And so you can move these, you can move it around however you feel is right. So again, images are also very important, you can add in here. And that again was from the insert menu to the pictures. And when that picture comes up, that format menu will show up where you can adjust the picture accordingly. So that's good, that gives you some options though. We also have some shapes. Now shapes are pretty cool because then you can actually add arrows if you want. So they do have multiple styles of arrows. And one of the ones that I do enjoy is one of the ones right here. I could put in an arrow, and when I select it though, and then you actually draw it. See this? And it was kind of cool, and you have the ability to turn the arrow the other direction. So I could turn it, like that. And I can bring it down, bring it up. One of the other things too is I can make it smaller or bigger. As you see in here, you have these little corners that you can bring everything in. You can bring it closer, you can bring it wider, you can bring it inward. It is recommended to use the corners though. That keeps what they call the aspect ratio. It keeps the integrity of that image together, and so everything kind of moves in the same direction altogether. But again, you can do shapes in here just like that. And then again, you remember when you add something in the insert menu, you then have that format menu where you can do that stuff. So again, like images here, the shapes are no different. You can actually change those images and however you want to position them, and you can put them in line with the text or not. A lot of those are right there. So you kind of get to see that as well. And then in the layout, I'm going to just highlight the layout portion. We kind of hit a lot of those things here. And you can also do screenshots and smart art. A lot of those other things are as well. And again, you can add other text boxes as well inside the insert menu. Now in layout, this is also really cool because you can, when you get ready to print, these kind of things are important because sometimes depending on how your document is laid out, you're wanting to make sure that the orientation of how it's going to be printed will print out correctly. In this case, it's actually one of those when it comes to printing in a portrait style, which is usually the default in Word. We're going to jump ahead back to that file menu to the print. Now, you see our document right here, which is really important. You can actually, if you wanted to change the orientation, you could. There are multiple ways on how you can do this in Word. And again, you can do it through the print menu, or you can do it through layout. It goes to the same place. There's multiple ways to do it. But in here, you can actually go to File, Print, and make the changes here as well, from your margins to your orientation. Even if you want to be able to sort it, collated copies, 1, 2, 3 in order, or you can have certain amount of pages come first and other ones next. A lot of those are available. Or if you just want to be able to print that current page, you can do that here in this menu. But again, multiple places you can see that. And again, the orientation again is either portrait or landscape. So a lot of times the portrait view, you'll see right here, just like we have it, straight up and down, or you can turn it to landscape. In landscape, when you do that, and you can also preview it inside the print menu. Now you'll see in here, it's in landscape mode. It looks like again, a rectangular page versus a long page. If I again switch it back to the portrait, you'll see the changes. See that? So portrait versus landscape. So that's where that comes in. So again, you can change all of these things in here. And we talked about columns. You can move all this text into different columns if you want to. The size of these documents. If you have something you want to make bigger or have a printout, a different type of paper that you want to print on that's bigger, then you'll want to make sure that this is selected. Now they give you the measurements of those different pages right here underneath. You know, the common ones, you know, legal style, or I mean, sometimes we'll also see the main one is letter. But letter, legal are usually your common ones you'll see, and they have they're already preset to where you can just select them, and whenever you put that paper in, it will print just right. So again, you can change sizes right here in the layout menu too before you get ready to print. So again, those are kind of the things that you're seeing with them. You see how the multiple menus work. You can actually take these items, you put them on the page. You can then go in and you can change the fonts, the sizes, and all of the, and then add bullets to them as well. And then you can use the insert menu to go in and put the pictures in and then format it to however you want it on the page. All of those kind of work hand in hand. And that's, again, what you're getting to see here with the use of these different menus. So again, these are the first three that we kind of got to look at now. So we're going to go ahead and go on back to the presentation real quick. And let me go ahead and switch back here. Okay, here we go. So again, so we've again talked about the first three here, home, insert, and layout. And the design you can look at a little bit further. A lot of those really are just different templates that you can do. Now, references tab. Now, this is one of those. Again, it's if you're going a little bit more, if you're doing a lot more writing, like actually doing papers and doing books. Now, this is one of those. Is a very important tab to be in. Just to kind of, I'm just going to touch on it just a little bit. But you have, again, it has mostly the commands that are the most commonly associated when you're doing papers and stuff and essays. So if you're in school, you hit the essays stuff, you'll use this quite a bit. And then in any other formal documents, usually you're going to be using this tab quite a bit. But in here, you can see, you can create table of contents in here. You can actually add footnotes. Like I say, a lot of things that involve like books and writing. And then if you're doing the actual essay papers and using APA style, you can or MLA, you know, all of those kind of styles are in here where you can set that, you know, apart, you know, in your paper. But again, this is, again, the references tab. That's an important one when it comes to the more writing in these documents. Mailings tab. Now, this is a good one. Many of you may have heard of Mail Merge before, and Mail Merge is a very nice tool when it comes to working with envelopes and labels. Now, this is a very nice tab to use stuff. And there's, again, many videos out there. We won't be touching on that in this video. However, the Mailings tab is a very essential part of Word. And if you are wanting to do labels and do like a bulk mail out or something of different putting labels on envelopes, this is a great tool to have. And we do have the ability where you can select the style of envelope or the style of label. And working in what we'll be talking about in October, Microsoft Excel, you can actually do these mail merges and really save yourself time. They are very, very, again, it's a very, very helpful. It's actually one of the really cool tools that works between the two platforms, Microsoft Excel and Microsoft Word. And that right there is actually one of the greatest things that you can see how intertwined the programs work. And I would highly recommend, if you ever get able to do a video on mail merges, you'll really see the power of how Word and Excel can work together. But again, this is where that tab comes in. You can actually, and selecting, when you see here the selecting recipients, a lot of that will actually be from the Microsoft Excel document. And you can actually put the fields in, and you're all able to then create a mail merge between the Excel spreadsheet as well as the Word document. So again, a really nice example of how the two programs can work together. And again, we will talk about that in October as well, all throughout on Excel, because that's a very, very robust program. And Word is as well, but you'll see how the features can work hand in hand with the two programs. Then you have the Review tab. Now, the Review tab, again, is one that we kind of mentioned last time that kind of gets overlooked. And it's a very, very helpful tab that gives you the chance to take the information that you had and then also be able to go and review it, like spell check. Also, you can get, if you're trying to get a word count as far as for a contest or something, you can then get the word count in here. You can see those in the first grouping here called proofing. So, spell check, the thesaurus, if you're trying to find other types of words to use and replace, you can just select a word in there and replace it with another word that's very similar. So the thesaurus is in there. You can also translate. You can also add new comments. You can also have multiple people check your document for you, and you're able to track the changes that are happening in that document. So those are very, very important tools of what you'll see in the review tab. And then again, you can actually do a review pane, which the pane is basically just another window, and it will actually add something to the side over here on the right that will allow you to then see what's happening, with the reviewing, and then you can look at your document at the same time. So again, there's lots of different things in review that allow you to go and proof the document and pretty much get everything kind of cleaned up and making sure that it's a very nice document to present if you're doing a meeting or about to turn something in. So again, the review tab, one of the ones that's kind of overlooked a little bit, but it's a very, very powerful tab inside Microsoft Word. Then you've got view. Now view is a very important one too. The part that is really important about the view tab is that it gives you different ways to look at the document. Now you will see here on the left side, you've got the view, that there's different modes, what they call, of how to view the document. There's the read mode. The default one is the print layout. And then you can also go in and look at web layout. You can make it where it looks like a web page as well. So those are important. And then you can actually look at there's page movement as well. You can then change, you can actually show how fast you can move the document on there in vertical fashion. And you can add rulers at the top. You can see up here on the top one here, there is a ruler already up there. So if you were looking at your margins and looking at the different things that will take, you can actually shrink the document a little bit inward for printing, or you can expand it to maximize every bit of that space. So the ruler is important too. And then you can also zoom in on the document. Now looking at this part here, this is kind of cool. I'm going to take it back here real quick to look at the zoom, how you can do that in the document. Let me switch back here. And here we go. So we are now in the view part, okay? So you can actually hit the zoom feature. We're talking zoom in Word, not the actual video conferencing, but zoom here. You can actually take this and go backward. If you wanted to, so we're actually very, very close right now. You can, there's actually a few default settings. You can do either way up close at 200%. At 100%, you're kind of getting the normal view of what you're seeing, or you can go up to 75%. So you can, like again, we can take it back a little bit and go up to 100. So again, it looks real small on the page right now. So sometimes it's nice whenever you're working on something, you can make it a little bit closer. And you can also, and one of the great features they've added in some of the newer editions of Word is actually in the views. You can now make it where it's just the one-page view, which is right now kind of what we see right now. The multiple page views, you can actually change that. If you have multiple pages, it'll actually scroll down where you can actually see everything in front of you. So you can change it there too. And page width, you can increase the page width and have it expand across that screen. So a lot of different features in the view part of it. And you have your automatic 100%, it'll just take you right back there. Like I said, it's the default in Word. So if you're wanting to go in and make it bigger, and a lot of this text is just a little bit smaller, but you can make it bigger too. You can also do, in views, you can also split screens. If you have multiple documents, you can actually take the windows and put two documents together on the same page here. So and what I'm saying is that you can then, you have document 1 and then you have a document 2. You can actually put that into a split mode where you're actually working on both documents on that screen. And again, they're saving differently. However, we can work simultaneously. And so you can make that available on your screen to work on two documents. And then there's also switch windows, and then there's other properties that you can add too. But a lot of this, again, the view menu is very, very nice though, because you can then change the way it looks on your screen, depending on how you want it. You can do it where you can see everything all at once, or you can do just one page at a time. That's where it all comes in, though. Very, very important parts of this all the way through. Now we're going to wrap it up here and finish up the last little bit. You get back in here into the presentation. So again, there's the View tab, and we went through those as well. So kind of wrapping up here, we looked over all of the ribbons and all of these different menus. We have a lot of different options for us in this Word document. So we went over the interface that has the ribbons. We also identified the tabs. And again, the tabs, again, your home, your insert, the view, when it also comes down to these other ones. We also had, the layout. So a lot of these things are, again, they're very standard across Microsoft Word, but you also got to remember too that they're all intertwined. You can go back and forth between them and use all these tools to make that document just excellent all the way through. So again, we can kind of bounce around between all of those and see how that all works together. And then we went and understood further how those tabs, work for that document. Like I said, they kind of intertwine. You're able to take little bits from the home tab, put stuff on the page, then take that insert tab and add pictures, maybe add some shapes like an arrow, or you can actually then bring out so much, in that document. But again, you work together, you use all of those pieces, and then you can craft a really great document all the way through. We are now at the conclusion of the training.